Right. Sea Dog, take it away, big man.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Yep. Right, so it's episode 4 of Joga Bonito.
Yes!
I haven't got anything fancy to open this up with. I'm not going to pretend I do. I'm just going to say welcome back. And it's a pleasure to be here again.
You've missed out our tagline, Callum.
Oh. Well, I sometimes say it. The sometimes beautiful game of Scottish football. Sorry, I didn't know that. Woo! Let's go! Where's his energy came from out now? What's in that water? It's been a good week of Scottish football. Nothing major's happened anywhere.
Disagree.
It's
Wholly disagree.
What about down the West Coast on Saturday?
Well, I'm down the West Coast on Saturday.
90+6. Bobby Muirhead.
It was some goal.
It was some free kick. And then he just walks away like he's
I know, he's, yeah.
just a chill guy.
I feel it was a direct response to YouTube, basically saying Livingston were out of the title race last week.
Pretty much.
No, I think, well, he said they were out the title race. I had them to come second.
But as of last week, you guys were just talking.
Comes out.
There's nothing to do with Livingston. I'm like, they're 2 points behind.
True.
Yeah, that was some way to win it. But I heard the Rangers manager got sacked this week. Did you hear anything about this?
No, is that new? That's new news to me, by the way.
Yeah, it appears that he's gone.
Yeah.
The axe has fallen.
Would appear that way. Because a large part of this podcast, obviously, is we like to speak about some of the lesser known stories, the unsung heroes of Scottish football.
Yeah, that's a new one for me. I've not heard about that one.
But yeah, there's not really getting any away from this one, is there? And
No,
it's been quite a big week.
Yeah. A huge week.
Yeah, it seemed quite inevitable, really.
Yeah.
I think so. I think when we saw that they lost to St Mirren at home, and I think their shot or chance creation quality, I saw a stat, which is very XG, very sort of modern day football. However, it was pretty damning. I think Rangers' shot quality creation of the week was second bottom in the Premiership or something.
XG
Which
match
at
in the
home,
sky.
I know that's very woke.
He's the kind of guy. I think Fraser's the kind of guy that play FIFA and be like, "Oh yeah, I lost, but I had better XG." So
100%. I'm all in the Russell Martin school of thought.
No.
You might lose 7-0, but if you play the better football, it's a moral victory.
Well, talking about managerial appointments at Rangers, Russell Martin was a name I saw sort of linked on the list. But they ended up going quite a different direction to what anyone would have predicted. And that's going to give us the theme of this week's episode, which we're going to come on to very soon. The theme is going to be the worst managerial appointments in Scottish football history. We're not saying this is going to be one that joins the list, but it could.
4
managers.
Whatever it is, it's that they've hired a squad,
yeah.
the Avengers, to come in and save the season. I don't know. It could be a stroke of genius. It could. Maybe it's just a plaster over the cracks for until the end of the season, and they bring in maybe Steven Gerrard. I don't know, but. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm
just here for the Jose Mourinho matchup to come very soon.
Yeah,
in the Europa League. That's going to be
Jose
box
Mourinho
office
versus the 4 of them. That's
I just
4v1.
wish that Philippe Clement was still on a job for the Fenerbahce game, because after he came out and was like proper slagging Jose Mourinho, I would have loved to see that match. But
it's kind of incredible how well they did do in Europe this season, despite everything else going on.
That's ultimately, I think that's how he's got as far as he has with Rangers, because I think the board came out and said it's his work in Europe that has basically
kept him
in a job. But obviously to lose at home,
it's all about winning trophies and everything, isn't it? We were at that Scottish Cup final last season,
Yeah,
they didn't get over the line.
To be fair, they were good in that game.
They were. Where were we sitting for that game?
Yeah, who were you sitting?
Can't remember. Well,
sitting amongst
Hamden,
a sea of blue.
We were in the sea of blue for that game.
Wouldn't be doing that again.
We did get given free tickets for it.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was genuinely fantastic. But we were neutrals at that event. I'd never been to an Old Firm game or a Glasgow derby. Depends what side of the city you come from. And I'd never been to a Scottish Cup final either.
No, me neither.
So it was quite an experience.
Have you been to a Scottish Cup final?
Yes, I've been to plenty, thank you.
It was quite funny, sort of everyone spilling out. Obviously, I wanted, regardless of who'd won or who'd lost, I wanted to wait around to see the Scottish Cup getting lifted, because I've never seen that before. Live.
But the rules were out.
We were ushered out and we had to sort of walk out with our heads down. Like we were sort of having a wee chuckle inside. Not against Rangers, just the fact that everyone was so angry and upset, and I was angry and upset that I wasn't getting to hang around to, get full bang for my buck
Yeah.
Even though it was a free ticket.
It was good though, because my Scottish Cup journey ended that season at Caledonian Braves against Fraser, so I was like, I'm not going to another cup game this season. But you were there. That was a sad one. But
sad day at the office.
Yeah. Anyway, so worst managers of all time. We'll get onto that very shortly. We'll have a quick interlude, Luke, because you've selected the shirt of the week.
Oh yes,
Interlude.
Yes. Oh, very nice. So I've picked shirt of the week this week. It's,
I just got that. Very good.
Shocking.
Is it staying up there? We're going to have to crane our necks for this segment.
I'll bring it round. Can you please be of assistance, Fraser?
Of course.
So this week's beauty of shirt of the week is the Hearts 150th anniversary top.
Hold it in front of yourself, please. Imagine you're wearing it. There we go. It's a nice shirt.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for that.
It's a simple but effective shirt. There's no sponsor. There's nothing. But I like what they've done with the badge. Kind of brought it back to the roots.
Yeah.
So you can't actually see the Hearts badge. Fantastic.
Well, if you look closely.
Yeah, I see it. Don't worry.
Have to squint. Big time. I'm not joking. I don't know why I'm coming for Hearts here.
Yeah, no, like full on slander.
No, it's a lovely kit. It's very nice.
That's a favourite.
An odd shirt for a Falkirk fan to have in his collection. If you could go into a bit more detail there, please.
Yeah, it's an odd one.
Yeah.
Also, looks like an A United kit, so I'm all for it.
So we've alluded to it many times. Luke has got his second team leaning towards Hearts, which is
towards
because
Geordie.
Cut him open and he bleeds maroon, navy.
I remember about
red,
a year.
green,
I remember about a year ago when we were doing a Caledonian Braves game, and you're like, "Oh, Callum, I've ordered this new hoodie. It's really nice." And you're like, "I've been going to a couple of Hearts games with one of my pals. I could maybe wear it." And then like arrived, and you're like, "Oh, it's Umbro and it's maroon." I didn't even think about that. It looks like a Hearts jumper, and I'm like, "You've done this on purpose. That was not a mistake. A maroon Hearts jumper."
It's a nice top, by the way. I might wear it next week. It is nice.
Yeah, but it's the most Hearts thing I've ever seen.
But it's lovely. And that's it.
If you say so.
At least he's more open to it these days. It's
Yeah.
You know, guilty little secret.
If you like Hearts and you like Falkirk, what can we do about it?
I mean, there was a little bit earlier in the season where it looked like your big team and your wee team might have been switching around.
HHGH.
So, a lovely shout of the week. And does that take us into the theme of this video? The worst managerial appointments in Scottish football. So, this has, of course, been inspired by our 4 friends at Rangers that have gone in this week.
We should really mention that. I don't think we've actually mentioned the 4 friends for the people that have not seen the headlines.
Well, we've been speaking about it beforehand already, of course, as well.
Yeah. But the 4 friends being Barry Ferguson, he's the main man. He's fronting it up.
He's leading the chart.
Which we've debated already is a bit... it's a decision. It's a decision.
With the win percentages at his previous 4 clubs, was it 4 clubs?
Well, apart from Kelty Hearts.
Hearts, but you've got a little asterisk beside that as well.
Yeah, it was a phenomenal team in the Lowland League. Yeah. I mean, credit to him for doing what he did, obviously, but it was the kind of job that.
Yeah.
And then he went to Alloa to kick on with his career. And to be honest, maybe sticking at Kelty would have been the better choice at that time. I don't know, but obviously, it won't mean he's end up in the Rangers job. What do I know?
Well, exactly, and it could be a stroke of genius, but. I don't know. His CV doesn't look fantastic from a managerial point of view.
How does 4 managers work? Like, do they all?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who chooses
they're
the
obviously.
team?
I assume. I don't know exactly.
In a different area.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Obviously, Barry Ferguson's the main man.
So he'll make the final decision.
So they are obviously the assistant. So maybe it's not.
But it's an interesting one as well, because I think we all agreed when we were speaking before that out the managerial names in there, none of them are like punching Rangers, but we maybe thought maybe Neil McCann was the best manager out of them from what he did. I thought he did a really good job.
He has a decent CV, and he clearly, he's a student of the game. Is that the term?
Well, Dodds as well got them to take them to the cup final as well.
Yeah, they did come to the cup final.
It was a bit of a sinking ship, wasn't it? But I don't know. Maybe he's the main man. I wouldn't see Ferguson going in and maybe being a backseat kind of guy. He doesn't seem like the type of character. So
it does. If they'd gone Neil McCann fronting it up with then sort of his backup, his heavies helping him out, then I feel like it would have made more sense. But I don't know. Is this like Chris Boyd came out and said like he thinks that Barry Ferguson's appreciation for what's required at Rangers outweighs his managerial
Chris Boyd's just jealous.
credentials.
That's what he said. Yeah. Chris Boyd wants to be part of this party.
Well, true.
That's Virginia.
But I don't know. There's that kind of
big staunch party going on at Rangers. see what car he turned up to in as well? Turned up to Rangers in.
No, who's
yeah,
Chris
Boyd?
Boyd?
Big Barry.
No.
Turned up in an orange
Ford Ranger.
an orange Ranger. Like what's day one? set
But this is like we're kind of taking the mickey a wee bit here. It could turn out to be a stroke of genius.
That's what we're here to do, Fraser.
Yeah,
this is our job. All right.
I know. There's going to be egg in our face at the end of the season when Rangers win the Europa League and somehow manage to claw back the gap on Celtic. But I don't know. It just seems really odd.
It would still be hilarious.
Alan McGuire with his tie around his head at the final match of the season. I don't know. I can't see it working. But we'll see. Something obviously had to change. So
maybe
it could be a stroke of genius.
Makes sense not rushing into something. Wouldn't have been the first names you'd put on the sheet. But it does follow in a long run of some bizarre managerial appointments in Scottish football. And we've got a little list we're going to go through and we're going to rank them all as we go as well throughout this conversation as well. And then we'll get into some challenges at the end as well. So we've got
some fantastic ones in this list. The one that I was unaware of, and I cannot wait for you to tell this story.
Where do you want to start off then?
Do we go big? Do we go hard from the start? Or do we work our way in?
Possibly the worst manager ever.
Yeah.
Take it away.
Yeah,
because I feel we've mentioned every time that we don't want this podcast to be... Well, we do want this podcast to be loaded with bias. It's going to be loaded with bias. If you have an issue with that, sorry, stop watching. It's going to keep happening.
Swipe the tab away.
But either way, there's no way to get away from Claude Anelka and his historic few months at Starts Park. So... Claude Anelka, if you don't know him, he is the brother of Nicholas, the better known of the two brothers, arguably the more talented of the two brothers, who was in the prime of his career, playing down, I'm not sure if he was at Arsenal at the time, or if he maybe moved on to Real Madrid or something like that at this point, but his brother was keen to get into football management. And how do you do that if you're not qualified?
You go to Scottish football.
Offer a bunch of money to football clubs to pay them to let you be their manager. And obviously any club that sees that would say, nah, no thank you. Like, it's not really worth, selling the managerial position, apart from Rafe Rovers, of course, who were delighted to take on the opportunity to bring Claude Anelka in. And we do laugh and joke about it, but obviously having a lot of roots to Rafe Rovers, you'd have to look at the fact that it knocked the club back for so many years.
Yeah.
It's a big sum of money, to be fair.
Wait, yeah, but
that he
that money
was looking to invest
at
that time. £300,000.
Yeah, but the relegations that landed in, and everything like that, and took Reclaim the Rovers sort of. I won't go into the details of that because we haven't got all day. But basically a movement to get the club back, and the fans really were at the centre of that as well. And it took a long time to get the club back up, and back into the Championship after that, because he did come in and he had all these football philosophy ideas. Claude Anelka did, and it sounded brilliant, a bit of Wenger-able, I think it was going to be. And he came in with the mission statement of making Rafe Rovers the third force in Scottish football, as you'd expect, of course. How do you do that? You sign a bunch of guys that play street football in France and have never really played, formal 11-a-side football, and drop them in for a championship game. And let's just say it didn't go very well. So, yeah, he didn't last all too long in the position at Rafe Rovers in the end. So.
That's a phenomenal story. It's not that long ago either, to be fair. That's
2004, yeah.
2004, to think that someone's just come in, throwing a bit of money at a club, they've gone, come on in, then your brother's a good player. You know what you're doing.
Thanks to the money, yeah.
Get us into the Europa League places, or UEFA Cup places at that time.
So he did last probably longer than he should have done up until October, from the start of the season, that is. Lost two assistants throughout this time. They both stood down after realising this guy is probably shouldn't be a football manager, really. He got placed by Gordon DL, who's obviously a club legend.
Gordon. What a guy.
If there's anyone, I think Ian Davidson signed for Rafe as well that year and went on to be one of the highest appearance holders in Rafe's history and everything like that. So maybe that's some of the slight silver linings, but no, there's not really any silver linings from that story. Yeah. What am I talking about? The most disastrous appointment in Scottish football history. Because when looking this up as well, just did a bit of extra research. You do know the stories quite well if you've been around Starts Park. Did a bit more. First thing that came up, I think he was in the top 10 worst managerial appointments of all time anywhere. And the fact that, he's popping up in this list, a provincial Scottish football club like Rafe Rovers are coming up in this lists. Makes us big time,
I never knew he was replaced by Gordon Dale.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Your colleague?
Yeah. So Ray Ferguson, yeah, we're good at ending up on the front and the back page of newspapers. Unfortunately,
Exactly.
Feels like, but
20 years ago and 20 years on, or 18 years on, still doing.
I don't know what you're talking about, pal. And then I did see Claude Nelka. Yeah, he managed another team, 2009 to 2010, St. Louis, in the NASL, and he lasted 5 months in that.
What
to be
league's
fair,
that?
in the USA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that didn't
Back
go
with
very
a
well.
bang.
I don't know why anyone would look at his career and be like, yeah, we're going to bring this guy in. But yeah, he did actually make himself director of football. Sorry, after he, had to admit, I'm not capable of managing this team. It was just he did 1 draw and 7 defeats in his 8 games before then installing himself as director of football, where he lasted for 1 month.
This was at St. Louis.
No, this was at Rafe.
Oh, that was at
Yeah,
Rafe.
1 draw.
Okay.
I don't know who he drew against. That's really embarrassing. If you drew against Claude Nelka, that's a loss. That is, yeah, you deserve no points for that. So
You'll be going home thinking you've lost the game.
who should we go to next?
Can I put one forward?
I would love it if you did.
This one's quite recent.
Sorry, what are we going to grade that? I feel like it's an A+.
That,
We're giving some old school grades to this.
It's got to be an A+ in terms of car crash.
Yeah, A+.
We're grading this based on.
So now we've done this. I feel it was good we got them out of the way because that sets the bar.
An
A+ is Claude and Nelka levels of chaos.
I don't know. I'm not sure anyone's gonna reach those heights. That
I have
was
somebody that
tremendous.
might kind of not almost on the same level, but not.
We'll get around to these then.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what comes up. Fraser, who's your...
So this is quite recent. Didn't jump to mind at first, but suddenly remembered that Mark McGee's stint at Dundee, laced with just poor decisions.
The way his last couple jobs in Scottish football ended, it's quite... I'm not sure what the word would be.
Tragic.
Chaotic.
Yeah, they both apply actually. Yeah, good words, guys.
He's obviously he's a well-respected player. And then manager actually did well in sort of his earlier managerial career, but he came in. Obviously, Gordon Strachan, his best bud, was the technical director at Dundee at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure he still is.
Is he still?
He's still there, yeah.
Obviously, Gordon Strachan knows what he's doing, but potentially his decision was laced with bias. But James McPake, outgoing manager at Dundee. Gordon Strachan recommends to John Nelms at Dundee, appoint my pal Mark McGee, knows what he's doing. So Mark McGee comes in. He's on a 6-game touchline ban, having not served that
actually.
from 5 years prior, having been...
It's crazy that just stands over 5 years. Hopefully, I've seen John Nelms didn't look up any videos of Mark McGee before appointing him in the stand.
Is that the famous video of him like showing off at a fan?
So he'd had that sort of stint previously. I don't know whether that was the same game or whatever, but anyway, it still had to serve 6-game touchline ban. Came in at Dundee, lost his first 12 matches, winless in 12, won against Hibs. Despite that, Dundee got relegated. They then decided not to renew his contract, and they obviously got relegated to the Championship. And he left the club having won 1 match in 14 and a win percentage of 7.1%.
Can you blame him if he wasn't there for half of the games?
Fair enough. But just catastrophic decision after catastrophic decision. I don't know. I mean, he had a pretty decent CV.
Yeah.
But that was a decade prior. And he'd come in... Gordon Strachan maybe recommended that his pal was out of a job and that
a bit of nepotism
in the potentially.
Workplace, yeah.
And
you're not making any accusations here, are you?
No,
Mr. Lawyer, Fraser.
No, of course not. Absolutely not. But the accusation that I would make is that they did not think that one through.
That's not a wild accusation. I'll give you that one. What are you ranking this one then? I feel like
it's quite high. Yeah, it's pretty.
It was bad.
1 win in 14.
I feel like it didn't cause long-term pain and hatred or suffering, but it was impactful. So in the short time,
I should go a B.
I would go a B. Yeah,
B+. Nice B. Good job. Obviously, the lower ranking, the better when it comes to this. So, well done. Only a B.
1 win in 14 deserves a bit of a commendation.
Could we please move on to Ray McKinnon? up next.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know if you had anything on the tip of your tongue, but I'd love to do Ray McKinnon.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I think he's a brilliant name. Has a few jobs that he hasn't gone quite so well at in recent times, but there's certainly 2 clubs which he's intertwined with, Luke, that you'll know well too. Yeah. And this is going to be his spell at Morton we're going to touch on, because Falkirk didn't go very well either, but Morton was somehow even worse, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think we said that he was only there for how long was it, like 2 months or something?
Morton, it took over the start of the season, and then
so I think he was only there for like 2 months. Took over at the start of the season, and then it was like a few, like, into his tenure, somebody got sacked at who was it? Oh yeah, it was Hartley that got sacked at Falkirk. He came in, but it was just the way that they went about it, really, wasn't it?
Incredible, really, because obviously he was at Rafe before, and I was talking about this recently. He's actually so many of my favourite memories as a Rafe fan were under Ray McKinnon. You know, I thought he did a really good job. Got his move to Dundee United. The way that happened was a little bit. You're a bit like, this is a bit odd, because the rumours all came out the week of our playoff final against Hibs, and he's getting asked about it, you know, the day before the game, you went to Dundee United and all that, and like, didn't fully shut it down, that kind of thing, and then he was off, you know, a couple of weeks later, and it felt a bit weird, the timing of it. So when this whole Morton thing happened, I was like, right, well, let's kick this to another level now, because what he obviously did was he took training that morning with Morton after a pretty solid start to the season as well. After a mixed time at Dundee United, where he almost took them up, lost the playoff final, goes to Morton, starts off, hits ground running. Ray McKinnon's back. He's back in business. People are looking at him. He's got something going here at Morton. Takes training that morning. I think they got their squad pictures taken as well, famously. Yeah. The whole squad of Ray McKinnon in the middle and everything like that. And then that very day he goes off to interview for the Falkirk job without telling anyone.
He had some great players in that Morton team as well.
Yeah, it was a good team.
It was like Charlie Telford and Michael Tidzers, like the midfield partnership that I remember.
Yeah, and then obviously Falkirk were fined as well by the SPFL for their recruitment of him as well. The whole thing was very dodgy.
A bit sus.
He was branded as Judas by the Morton fans and the local papers when he went back.
Do you know what I remember? Because I remember, like, not long after he joined Falkirk, he played Morton away.
Yeah.
I think it was like 2 weeks into the job. Greenock Telegraph. There we go. Callum's got a
we'll get that up on screen.
That's journalism at its very best.
That's what we aspire for.
That was like the front page. But then it also came with a mask in the newspaper.
I love how they put speech marks around it, as if to say, it's not us saying that.
It's the fans saying it.
It's the fans, yeah. Oh my goodness. But I remember that so well. Yeah. I just remember how like it all happened, and then his return to Chapel was like disastrous as well. Yeah. Like, he lost, I think it was either 1 or 2-0, and like Leo Fassan, the goalkeeper at the time for Falkirk, got sent off. I remember that. Yeah, I wasn't at the game. That was I went down to Rotherham that day to take in Rotherham versus Bolton or something.
As you do.
Yeah.
Lovely anecdote.
But I remember like that game was going on when we were down there, and I just kept like checking the score, and it was like 0-0, and then like Leo Fassan sent off, and I was like, well, but that's a game.
If you need a private security team to take you to a Scottish Championship football game, you've probably done something wrong, Mr. Raymond McKinnon. Sorry. Yeah, impactful, and then possibly if we're looking at it from a funny side point of view, the way it went at Falkirk was beyond disastrous as well. So it's not like it even worked out. It was. It was all the relegation and everything like that. So.
He got some good results, though, that's the thing. He got some good results over, like...
I feel like you're the only Falkirk fan that would sit back and look at it this way.
No, but like there was... Like, I thought there was times throughout that, like, towards the end of that season where you thought, oh, they actually might stay up. Like, they bet Ayr twice. 2-0 at the stadium, and then 1-0 at Somerset.
2-0 at the stadium. Is that what you call it?
I just said the stadium, just as a...
As opposed to the down the park.
And then, like, bet County on the final day. Like, just there was some...
Flogging such a dead horse here, by the way.
No, but there was.
Right, so if they won more games and they didn't get relegated, it would have been a great appointment.
Phenomenal.
But honestly, there was like some like good results.
It shoots a promise, but ultimately...
All those games we lost 1-0. If Zach Rodden was just a bit better at finishing, I'll tell you what.
To be fair, he was our top goal scorer.
He was good that season. I remember that was probably the one thing. But then they even tried to keep him when they went into League One, and I remember just how bad it was getting. Like Falkirk being 4th in League One at the time, but as well was seen as like the disaster of all disasters, which unfortunately went on to go on for a little bit longer. But yeah, very bad. But we're not even talking about him at Falkirk. We're talking about him at Morton. What are we going to rate this, guys?
It's got to be. 50% win percentage. It's actually not bad. It's pretty catastrophic.
His team were quite good. But yeah, the way it ended, I think that's like an A.
Yeah, I think it's got to be to be front and centre of the team squad photo and then boost that day. That's an A+.
Getting the challenge, go down the road to Falkirk.
That's top housery, that is.
That's got to be maybe an A-. It's maybe not quite
A-, okay.
An Elka levels of catastrophic.
I'm happy with an A though. I feel like you can't get much more disastrous. Luke, I feel like there's someone on tip of your tongue.
This man.
Who do you want to talk about, man?
Someone's about to get slated.
Paul Hartley, please, sir.
So some real Falkirk drags here. Yeah. Thoughts of Paul Hartley then? A very well thought of manager coming into the job at the time, of course.
The thing was, he done well in every other job. So when
Alloway was ready.
Yeah,
ready
that
the
was,
hot
that was
property.
a standout. Yeah. Alwyn, to be fair, at Dundee as well. He brought Dundee to the top 6 in the Premiership.
Yeah.
And when he brought him, I'm thinking, I'm trying to rub my hands at it. I was like, this should actually be quite decent.
We're back.
Aye,
we're so back.
Dundee United 6-1. And I'm thinking, this is gonna be great. We're back, baby. But no.
So what happened?
I got to this is strange. It was weird. So he got his first full summer transfer window, and you were kind of thinking excellent. And he started signing all these players that you were thinking he was good. He looks quite good. Brought in that under-23 captain of Chelsea, and you're thinking,
who was that?
Ruben Samut.
Oh right, yeah.
Aye, brought him in, and you're thinking this guy looks a baller. And then bringing in a boy called Denon Lewis that made a feature on Love Island.
Yeah.
Just bringing in all these players that had performed.
All these strikers ended up playing 21 games and scoring 0 goals.
Yeah,
or one in the Challenge Cup or something.
Well, he was bringing in all these players that you thought they might actually be quite exciting, but no.
Yeah. Is it fair to say as well the fact he took over from Peter Houston kind of seemed like a really difficult guy to take it over from?
Yeah.
Because I feel like there was frustration at him for not taking the club up.
Yeah.
And Falkirk fans were getting a bit itchy at it, and which is certainly in hindsight maybe a bit unfair.
Just the run of form, the start of that season, they went unbeaten in the group stage of the Challenge Cup, the League Cup, and then the start the form at the start of the season, the games in the league, they kind of started quite poorly. We went away to St Mirren and lost 3-1.
But where's the catastrophe here? Sorry, forgive my ignorance.
I've kind of went on a wee bit of a tangent.
I'm hearing great signings, unbeaten in the League Cup, group stages.
But then, I think
did they get relegated?
Yeah, relegation.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
that's quite catastrophic to be fair.
Well, he got sacked halfway into the season, and then that's when Ray McKinnon stepped in.
It's quite early in the season, to be fair. He got sacked. Raymond came in at that point in August and took them down. Yeah, but it did really feel like the start of a very slippery slope for Falkirk, which was a very long and slippery slope. It took John McGlynn, coming in. John McGinn came in and sorted it all out. But yeah, I think especially when he took over, what the expectations was for Falkirk from what Peter Houston had done for so many years, getting him in the playoffs consistently. And there's still being frustration from the fans, which I get. Football fans, every club can be quite fickle, certainly. Yeah, and it's like finishing third in the league, beating Hibs in the playoff. It's a shame that they didn't do it, and there was probably quality in those Falkirk teams to do it. But maybe you also look and say, well, what we had was quite good as well. Yeah. So it was a difficult one when he was probably meant to be the young manager to come in to kick it on, to then do the opposite and start this really bad, slip down the table. There's probably been more lasting damage at Falkirk from those years than him, So I don't know what grade you want to give this, but certainly did go pretty catastrophically for him.
Sounds poor. It's not on the level of McKinnon and Anelka though.
No, it's not.
I would say, in terms of a catastrophic,
Give us here yet?
I would go maybe even a D.
No, I'd give him a C. I think
C.
it was what happened to Falk in the years after
Yeah.
that was terrible, and he really did sort of
Yeah.
kickstart a lot of that. So a C plus,
C.
and he's gone off to sort of get his career back on track a little bit in the biggest bout of nepotism there's ever been. That's a claim you can put out there. I think it's fair to say, but Cove stuck with him. It's all family sort of stuff involved with him and Cove as well. So that's public information. That's nothing new. Obviously, I had to spell at Hartlepool as well, which was probably even
a bit disastrous.
worse.
Hartley at Hartlepool.
Yeah.
I know.
Fantastic.
It was meant to be. That's probably why they hired him. They were like, this is perfect.
They had to. They're like,
Box office stuff.
get no choice here.
Yeah. But then the way I don't want to go down too much tangent. Remember when he went back to Cove
Yeah.
because they were doing quite good in the Championship without him? Sacked the manager to bring him back in.
Ah,
Then
they
took them down.
sacked, what's his name, Jim
McIntyre was it?
McIntyre, yeah. And they were doing.
They're doing all right this season.
That's what I was
I
gonna
think.
say.
Are they top at the moment? Or?
Yeah, they are top.
Who
Well,
knows?
there's about 4
Yeah.
teams top.
They're
I don't know.
top. So I looked
But
at
yeah,
after
that's-
Stenny's remuneration, they're top.
Yeah, so he's getting back on track. But we'll give that a C plus.
Yeah,
Maybe?
we'll give that a C plus.
C plus. Who should we go on to next?
I think. Shall we go Antonio Conte's best pal?
That's what we had to refer to him as because his name slipped out my head. Angelo Alessio. Now, what a time to take over the Kilmarnock job that was.
Oh, I mean that was one of the best periods in their history, arguably. Maybe second to the time they won the Scottish Cup. I don't know. Kilmarnock fans can correct me there, but
What year did they win the Scottish Cup?
97, I think. it
Some
was.
knowledge you've got for an air fan, eh? Wow.
Nah,
Bit of
my
obsessed with this guy.
cousins have told me a number of times. It may not be 97, but I think it was 97.
The bit Falkirk in that Scottish Cup final.
Did they?
Yes.
Sorry, mate.
Oh wow, there you go.
Well, it's good to see silverware in Esher, certainly.
Yeah, it's on the
That
time.
was-
That's on the time.
regularly.
It's on the time that Ayrshire will see silverware.
Major. I don't want to bring up League One again. I don't know about that. But yeah, so you lose Steve Clarke, who's a modern day legend.
Bye Celtic. Bye Rangers.
Bye Rangers.
Hello Angelo Alessio.
Took them into Europe and everything like that. What an opportunity this was for Kilmarnock to strike
Huge.
when the iron was hot. What did they do? Antonio Conte's right-hand man, Juventus, Italy, Chelsea. He'd been there, done it all. What a CV.
I never actually noticed. I never knew that.
Did you not know?
That is a fantastic
This is what this is
plain
kind of all he's
CV.
famous for, isn't it? Like
Wow.
being the assistant manager. Like
That is incredible, by the way. It's like all these big names. Well, obviously Kilmarnock are a big club too, but like you've got.
It's alright, you don't need to.
I want it to be nice to our Chelsea fans out there.
doesn't matter. It's like your cousins.
I don't want an unfollow from Instagram.
But yeah, so he came into this job, and suddenly a lot of the reaction that came out after a lot of the Killer players were talking about what Chris Boyd said afterwards, that Chris Boyd decided not to stay on, but he said it appeared that all the players were saying he didn't have a clue what he was doing on the first day that he came in, which also doesn't really reflect too well on some of the Kilmarnock players, I feel, not giving them a chance at all. It was a really difficult gig to take over, but it couldn't have went much worse. And certainly his managerial career didn't kick on too much after that, off to Indonesia after that. So yeah, not much to say.
Tearing it up in Jakarta. But yeah, that was quite catastrophic. I think he was a sexy name, I think.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, he was.
Coming in, pals with Antonio Conte, who just won I don't know how many Premier Leagues or whatever.
What I like to imagine is like him calling up Antonio Conte. Surely they're really close. You probably want a bit of advice from him. He's like, what do I do with Eamon Brophy? He's like, what do I do? How do I get the best out of Greg Kelly?
How do I play well on 4G? But yeah, to lose to Connah's Key Nomads. I mean, fantastic for the Nomads. Well deserved from them.
There wasn't...
Sleeping giant of European football.
Having seen a lot of these teams play in the Challenge Cup, which was a good addition, I think, there's not a way in. There's no chance that they should have been losing that Kilmarnock. A Premiership team should not have been losing to that.
And a Steve Clarke Kelly wouldn't have lost that at all.
All credits of like Connah's Key Nomads and like the New Saints and stuff like that, who we've seen play Scottish teams, is very much on part of a Championship team. For what was obviously one of the biggest days for Kilmarnock being back in Europe and not even really getting a European tour at all. At least they got Bruges and Copenhagen this year where Carvajal didn't score.
Come on.
If anyone saw last week's clip, we've been done there. But yeah, couldn't have been much worse. But he did actually leave which we didn't know when we were researching this, left them in 5th place in the league, which is kind of
I know that's
surprising.
Yeah, that softens the catastrophe of his appointment. 5th isn't terrible. Kelly they're not the 5th biggest team in Scotland.
No.
Yeah.
In fairness, so at that time they were the 3rd best team in Scotland when Steve Clarke left them. In fairness, but
So
5th isn't awful.
A job partly dictated, again, a bit like the Falkirk one was saying there, possibly by who was in it before, and I don't think anyone could have came in and done as good a job as Steve Clarke.
So was it Steve Clarke before?
Yeah,
It was Steve Clarke,
directly.
and then he did his speech bye Rangers, bye Celtic, and then he went bye Kelly and went to Scotland. Thankfully,
Yes.
But what could have been a real chance for them to kick on kind of ended up kicking them back a bit, and first relegation in a long time, of course.
do you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Not under him, obviously, but
Fair play to Kelly though. I don't hate the appointment. I like the idea. They could have gone, we'll try and find another Steve Clarke. They went, no chance. Let's go to Italy.
yeah, they
It's
got Derek
fine.
McKenna in the end, I suppose. But
Big deal.
what we put in this, maybe a B- perhaps, because that European loss really stings.
Yeah, I think funny. Let's go.
bet
Yeah,
you
let's
enjoyed
get. Yeah, let's go a B minus. Are we doing minuses and pluses?
We can do, yeah.
Yeah, very American, but we'll do it.
This
go.
isn't this is an Americanized thing.
Let's go a B minus. Then.
Good job, Angelo. You've ranked a B.
We're actually keeping on theme American with the 49ers in that, you know.
Well, exactly.
That could be a whole tangent.
So we're not going to go down that.
Right, we've got some more names on here. We've not had much Hearts talk since that top Ian Cathro.
Oh, great shout by the way.
And my one response to Ian Cathro would be, it's okay.
I love that. It's actually so funny.
It's okay. Just beat them next time.
Context, please, Callum.
His iconic interview after drawing against Barry Ferguson in the Scottish Cup, which Ian Cathro, obviously a brilliant coach before he came in, and we'll touch on his manager.
A great football brain on him.
Coached so many brilliant players at Dundee United, the likes Ryan Gould and stuff like that. Said he had a really big influence on them and respected by a lot of people. But it seems like the Hearts job was a lot of
Valencia was he?
Valencia.
He was the right hand man to Nuno at
I think he,
Espirito Santo. Was at Valencia?
yeah.
What it?
Yeah, he was in at Wolves.
Yeah, no, well that's how
he was in at Wolves as well.
Oh, he's big. Like
Is he not
he's got a
close with Rafa
classy CV
Rafa Benitez as well, I think.
potentially.
Yeah. So he came in and it was like, right, here's a chance for him to be the main man and take on a job, and it didn't go quite too well because it seemed like the pressures of being the main man, certainly what Scottish media can be like as well. So they chewed him up and spat him out in a way. But that interview that I was alluding to there, it's okay, was after conceding a last minute goal against Barry Ferguson in the Scottish Cup, which then they had to have a replay in the week, which they won. But yeah, that interview was like an absolute deer in the headlights. It was quite sad to see, really, and maybe just the way he was gone at wasn't quite right for him.
And
since
his defence,
he's gone off to do well, we've been saying,
Yeah, well now he's back in his native Portugal.
his native
Or
Portugal.
his adopted native Portugal.
Yeah.
And he's with Estoril.
Estoril, yeah.
I
The
think-
Canaries.
Is that? Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know they were. There you go. I believe it's a little club that are just outside Lisbon. But they're doing all right.
Yeah, this month he was manager of the month for January.
Oh, yeah,
5 wins in a row. So just wait until Ian Cathro is the next Porto manager or Portugal, something like that.
I feel like maybe he's just got a continental football brain that in Scotland just doesn't
Maybe.
marry well with.
I think we should make a wee trip out there.
Listen,
Go visit Ian
Lisbon has a
Cathro.
quality city break, so
I think the last
I'm all
thing
for it.
Ian
Oh,
Cathro
quality,
wants is Scottish media turning up and interviewing him. His least favourite people in the world
are
are
we
back.
Scottish media? Is that? Well, yeah, we can.
Well, we're not the
we could
we're not
tell
the
them we
media,
are.
but Scottish people doing media.
Trying to be, yeah.
Yeah, so that was incredibly bad, his time at Hearts.
Yeah.
Very young manager, of course, at the time. Then I think he stayed for the season turning over and then got papped out of the League Cup group stage, which was pretty embarrassing. And yeah, certainly...
Paul Hartley even managed to get out of that as well.
No, I didn't.
Oh, didn't he?
No, that was that was the season that Tuesday.
Oh, right. Oh, sorry.
And then Hartley took.
Oh,
Hartley took
I
over.
got that completely wrong there.
Yeah, and then everyone came out afterwards and said his training lacked any intensity, and Brendan Rodgers as well came out and said, doing a lot of research here, of course, Brendan Rodgers saying that that this just seemed to be a mismatch between what Hearts were trying to do, between what the manager was trying to implement and what the team were trying. It was just a mess of a time.
Yeah.
It felt like that time at Hearts and really needed to steady the ship. So what are we going to give this one?
I think just based
5 wins in 22. Not
it
a
as
great,
low as that?
not a great win record.
And it is,
and then out the cup as well the next season. So
it's synonymous now, that appointment, with sort of failed appointments in Scottish football.
especially when it comes to hiring young managers too, and taking that risk on it. You've seen like Brighton do it, for example, and it's
it's regularly cited in sort of Scottish football punditry as being a sort of failure. So I think it's got to be quite high, unfortunately, for Ian.
Yeah.
He wouldn't mind now that he's flourishing out in Portugal, but let's give it. Should we give it a B? Is that B plus?
just think, yeah.
Let's give it a B plus.
27, 28 years old when he got that or something like that.
Is that all?
I think it was, yeah.
It's my age.
Okay. He's only 38 now. Yeah.
Maybe I should submit my job application at Hearts.
There's a few jobs going at the minute.
True.
Fifth man at Rangers could be you. And Fraser Gordon's here as well. He's here to smile.
Just smelling it.
I'll get in the Rangers starting 11 for managers.
So, what's the ranking for that then?
B plus.
B plus. Okay, well done, Ian. You've done well.
Yeah.
But good for him with the Canaries. He's flying again.
Exactly.
Class.
And we hope, maybe Scotland manager one
Canary
day.
flying.
Oh,
So everyone sort of glossed over. I don't deserve a handshake for that one, but thank you.
Quality.
Talking about good Heartsmen. Craig Levein, Scotland.
dear.
And when I pitched that one to you, I said, could Craig Levein be in here? Is that harsh? You were like, not at all. Not for
No
a second.
No hesitation at all.
If you're going sort of disastrous managerial appointments, and I mean, in his defence, the Scotland team at that time weren't blessed with quality or star
He
men.
didn't do much to help them flourish.
No, 460.
It was iconic. To be
Iconic
fair.
away
I
in
feel like
Czech Republic.
he deserves a few points for that, if anything. In a good way. Because it's so iconic. 4-6-0. What do you think of
It's
Craig
a little
Levein's
bit
Scotland?
ahead of its time as well. Or maybe
Yeah.
See Arteta, see what he was doing, like away to Manchester City, and brilliant.
Just look at Pep, just full stop.
The City Liverpool game at the weekend. How many strikers were on the pitch? I'll let you answer
Arteta's
that.
been
None.
playing Mikel Merino up front for us.
Exactly. So when Craig Levein started with Jamie Mackey as the most advanced player for Scotland and Czech Republic, I think it was Jamie Mackey. Maybe he was ahead of his time. Just didn't quite have the.
Yeah, but a dark era for Scottish national team football. I think this could be an A or something like that. It was it was dark, and I feel the more we talk about it, the sadder I'll get. And
however,
we should just move on.
I think what was it? There was a headline because they played Czech Republic, lost 1-0, 4-6-0, catastrophic. They had to kind of win the game, or at least get a draw out of it. In the context of qualification, and then they played Spain. I'm sure they played Spain at home, and then who were the world champions at the time, and they put up a right good fight and only lost 3-2 in the end. And I think the headline was like from 4-6-0 to hand in heroes or something. So it wasn't all doom and gloom.
Yeah.
I could be talking rubbish, but I think I remember that headline.
Well, it's obviously not a bad manager from what else he's done in his career as well, certainly. So just a shame how that one. Iconic spell at Rafe Rovers as well. About 20 days.
Wow.
Wow.
Craig Levein, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Never knew that actually.
I feel like every manager in this list has had that spell at Raith Rovers.
Oh, he's one of the shortest serve managers in Rafe Rovers history. I think even shorter than Neil Collins. So that's
There we
impressive. Yeah.
Did he also decide that he fancied the son of California?
No, more the son of Dundee. He took over the Rafe job, Craig Levein, without going too deep on this, and he's a Rafe Rovers fan.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He says that quite a lot. Yeah, but he's a Rafe fan, and I think he came in to help the club out. They had a clause in his contract that he could leave if someone came in, and a month later, Dundee United called him up, and he's all right.
See you later.
See you later.
On Craig Levein, did you recently see Craig Conway in open goal?
I did not.
If you haven't seen this is utterly phenomenal. Obviously,
yeah, stop watching this podcast. So watch another one, please. Yeah.
It's Craig Conway, a United hero, but also Dundee United hero, having basically won them the Scottish Cup in 2010, I think. He was managed by Craig Levein, and he was talking on the podcast about how he does a quality Craig Levein impression, and it genuinely, if you close your eyes, you'd think it was Craig Levein. It was absolutely phenomenal. And I think he'd done it. He was saying that he'd done it on the bus after the Scottish Cup final to like the rest of the boys, and then Craig Levein found out and he wasn't impressed by it. But it obviously hasn't stopped him doing it now because he was doing it quite a lot. It's funny. It's good.
So what are we gonna the final ranking in A?
Craig Levein. Ultimately didn't qualify in 460. Can we give it an A again?
I think an A just.
But the performance against Spain was commendable.
But
they still lost. Let's give it an A. He's got to go an A. Craig.
It's memorable for what it was in a way as well, wasn't it? So
he carries that around with him and will do for the rest of his life. So that's got to be.
What shall our next name be?
Looking at your list there, there's
it's not
arguably the most iconic on the list.
Who are you thinking?
Pedro.
Well, it's a big week for Rangers.
Pedro
so I think we
standing
didn't
in a
mention
bush, Coutinho.
Iconic that was, yeah.
Yeah.
When did that all go wrong, Pedro?
Luxembourg, Progress, Niederkorn, in the middle of a hedge.
Aye, that's from where.
Arguing
Where was it?
with
Where were
fans.
they?
Well, Luxembourg, I think.
Sorry,
I think it was Luxembourg.
I did just want to do some research just on that last topic before we jump back in. The name I was trying to remember was Tommy McLean, Ray Rovers managers, our shortest serving one, ahead of Neil Collins and Craig Levein. Can you guess how long he lasted in the job in 1996?
A week.
Your guess. Terrible guess.
2 days.
6 days.
Come on now, I was close.
A whole day off. That's impressive. So
That is
Craig
very
Levein tried to
impressive.
top it. He
Give him an A star.
Aye.
Yeah.
Plus.
Well, he also wants to go work at Dundee United as well. So
There you go.
typical. So sorry, Pedro in a bush.
Yeah, not really much more to say about that. Really, that's iconic. One of Rangers' worst losses of all time.
First European campaign in 8 years as well. So it was a big one, long time in the waiting, and probably the most embarrassing one since. Yeah. So that's the one that sticks out in the memory, isn't it? Losing 5-1 in the derby.
Some quite iconic
There were quite a few
sayings
5-1s
as well. I think came out and said that if you, I don't know, was it him that came out and said if you cut him open he bleeds blue or something? I can't remember. Maybe that was someone else. But yeah, he was quite a.
Described as a desperate mess from start to finish by Tom English of BBC Sport, which probably sums it all up. Yeah, he had the odd game here or there, maybe. I don't know. That's me trying to be nice.
Yeah.
That's me trying to be nice. That's not true at all. Because it was a disaster. Finishing third in the league as well, behind Aberdeen, losing to them on the final day. I believe it was losing to Louis Mort's double, of course, in the semi-final of the League Cup, which is very memorable from a Motherwell perspective.
Phenomenal double that.
I'd have a wee shout out to one of my mates that's a Motherwell fan. Just he would love this.
Go for it, mate.
Jack, I know you're watching, son. So
There you go.
Yeah, thanks.
A wee shout out to the Will.
Shout out to Motherwell.
Where do they rank in your
That means
team
a lot.
that you support?
That means a lot to Motherwell FC. That does.
1-0
Going through a difficult time at the moment, so look, sentiments are really.
That's in my supporter.
229 days in charge. It feels like way more than that. Big Pedro.
That is wild.
Shortest
actually.
sub manager in Rangers history. Iconic. Has to be up
iconic.
there. So many memories. Thank you for the memories, Pedro. You know?
But fair play to him. He's now over.
He believed in David Bates
He
when no one else did.
He did.
To be fair, David Bates went on to do some decent stuff.
Yeah, and Ray Rovers gave him away for free. So that's enough on that.
But
Couldn't stand in the boys' way. That was the statement. Anyway, we're not taking this up. Sorry.
Pedro, he's now over in Santos.
Wow.
He tried to bring Josh Windass together with Neymar.
And what happens when you fail to sign Josh Windass? What's plan B? Sign Neymar.
Exactly. Also managed, was it Morelos last season as well?
Uh-huh.
So he's not doing too badly out there.
He's on his 12th job already. Which is
I would
crazy.
love to see sort of conversations between Neymar Jr. and Pedro Caixinha, and whether it takes place in a hedge. Who knows?
To be fair, Neymar scored an absolute belter of a goal at the weekend.
Did he?
He was getting booed by the opposition fans
Disgraceful.
for the full game, right?
What do they call that? An Olympical? Is that what they call that? When he scored out from a corner?
Oh, did he score directly?
Oh, he gave away the punchline. He scores. He
If you hadn't said that about 5 minutes time, Luke was about to tell us.
He goes to the corner and scores directly from it.
Sorry, Luke.
Wow.
Yeah, and then he scored from a corner. And that was Pedro's idea as well. He said, right,
Neymar, silence those haters.
why did he never do that at Rangers? Right, Andy Halliday, come here, mate. Swing it straight in back of the
Well, obviously, Josh Windass obviously could do it at Rangers, and that's why he was trying to re-sign him.
So he got Neymar.
And Santos,
He did it.
yeah.
I think this is A.
It's got.
This could even be A plus if we want to give it.
No,
I think it's an A plus actually. It couldn't have gone anywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. put
A
it
plus. Well done, Pedro. Great work, son.
Dread, mate.
Proud of you. This list is whittling down. We've not got too many bad appointments left. I mean, we spoke about a lot. I'd like to mention Terry Butcher at Hibs.
Mention away.
Mention away.
Take us down a trip down memory lane, Callum.
Oh, trip down memory lane. Terry Butcher, an iconic name in football, has to be said.
Yes.
A bit of a madman.
Madman, yeah. Tough man.
Tough man, hard man.
Known for playing with blood streaming down his face.
Yes.
Brr.
Yeah. Just like that.
Another
Just
tough man.
another tough man. From one tough man to another one. Yeah. Yeah. It was more like Pat Butcher when he was at Hibs. Let's be honest.
Look at
That was pre-planned, surely.
It wasn't.
That was in the script.
He's had that kick in.
That was jotted down. When Terry Butcher just mentioned. Remember Pat Butcher?
Sorry, Callum. We shouldn't underestimate you like that.
I didn't plan that one out, and if I had done, I wouldn't have said it, to be honest. So it's not very funny. So yeah, he came in.
Fraser and I loved it.
Thank you guys. Well, if you guys don't remember much about Terry Butcher's times at Hibs, I'm not surprised. He took over midway through the season. They were doing all right, mid-table, not too bad at all.
So, Callum, can I ask what year this was?
2013.
Oh, okay.
So gets to January. Things aren't going too well. The fans are saying, sign some players, please. Doesn't sign anyone until deadline day. Get some free players. Duncan Watmore, same as one of those names, which is a decent rename.
Yeah.
Is he the one that's at Watford?
Is he at Watford now? Oh, is he at Watford now?
Yeah.
He was on at Sunderland.
Oh, yeah.
He was done
remember,
well. Then he went around a few clubs.
Ginger guy.
But then I think this is the sort of definition of a slip down the table. With Hearts massively struggling that season. They were dead and buried at the bottom, of course. And what could Hibs do to make that funny? They Hibsed it. I think that's what the term is, right? With Hearts fans.
Yeah.
Hibs are falling apart again.
Yes. To the tune of Joy Division. You're not doing
To
it.
the tune of Joy Division, yes.
You're not doing it. You're not doing a sore nightmare today. I had the Derby weekend. You're not doing it.
Oh, true. Yeah,
I'm not doing anything.
Hold your cards close. But anyway, that was a slip down the table, which eventually ended up with that famous playoff game against Hamilton, which you guys probably remember, surely.
Oh, yeah. The
Penalty
shootout.
shootout,
Yeah.
the comeback.
It was iconic.
Jason Cummings missing a penalty. All that terrible.
That was Porlo, man.
Honestly.
He did.
So, Terry Butcher coming in, changing the captain from James McPake to Liam Craig, not playing him and all that. Just seemed like he's obviously a big character. It's big Tez, and didn't go very well and got Hibs relegated when they really shouldn't have been anywhere near relegation. So, knocked them back quite a few years as well. Took them a long way
Knocked them
to come
back?
back up.
Got themselves a Scottish Cup on the way back.
I suppose
So
that's true.
I would argue that Pat Butcher set them on the way to
Why are we just calling him now Pat Butcher?
to glory.
Because Terry Butcher was the England captain, Pat Butcher was the Hibs manager, and he butchered that job. And what is Right, can we all calm down? Don't act so surprised when I say something clever, please. Okay, it makes it seem like it's not normal. What's the ranking going to be for this? I think maybe a B.
Yeah,
He's not very well thought of.
A B minus.
B
minus. Yeah, go B
Yeah,
minus.
brilliant.
He's not quite up there in the upper tier with the madmen of Scottish football.
Come on, Luke.
I'm struggling.
What's the name of the feature?
Let's just call it Who Am I?
Who am I? Okay, it's a teaser. Give us some clues then.
Right.
How good's your knowledge, Fraser?
I know. I
feel like I'm on the
think
spot.
with the
He's given us a few of his teasers and we've not been very good at them. So we're going to have a guess
the
after every
calibre,
single clue.
Yeah, this
Okay.
could be difficult, but
I have played alongside Ricardo Fuller, John Suter, and Frank Ribery.
Frank Ribery and John Suter.
Yeah.
John Suter. Right, let's think. Fuller is Stoke City. John Suter.
Well, because obviously, can we work as a team?
Yeah,
Slightly?
yeah.
Played with recently, Ribery.
Frank Ribery was obviously at Fiorentina at the end of his career as well.
Fiorentina.
Obviously
Is that?
No, you can't give us that. But also John Suter had a few big name teammates. Dundee United.
Nadir
then-
Chichi?
I doubt he's played with Frank Ribery, has he? No. No, that's not a guess. That wasn't a guess.
That was. Yeah.
Right, we need. Who should our first guess be? We might need to.
Well, let's work out
Who was the first player?
Ricardo Fuller. Is it the guy that is he Jamaican? Was he Jamaican?
This is
Played
tough.
for Stoke City under Pulis.
I'm sure that, yeah.
John Suter.
Scored a couple of goals in the Premier League.
No, it could. What we need to think about for it could be international as well.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. So if he's Jamaican, is he Jamaican?
Mm-hmm.
He's Jamaican.
Yeah, sure.
So it could be a Jamaican player.
It could be a Scotland teammate. Just trying to think. Well, who's played with Frank Ribery that's like played in Scotland?
Bayern. So who's he played with?
And Bayern Munich.
Ribery's Bayern, France, Fiorentina. John.
He was at another like Salernitana as well. I think it was Salernitana. Did he not play for Salernitana?
I don't know. He might have, but this is not where he played with.
No, the Frank Ribery. I thought you were shaking your head saying Frank Ribery hadn't played for them.
You might right. Okay. If you
Should we just throw out a stupid guess?
Go for it.
Should we just do that? Should we do one each? Because I haven't got a guess. Liam Morrison.
No. Oh, that's about Bayern, eh?
I just said Bayern. I thought maybe Scotland under 21 teammates.
Stupid guess.
Oh, I haven't got a guess. You give us a good guess then.
Let's go. Charlie Adam.
No.
When were Charlie Adam and Frank Ribery played together then?
So, do you want the next?
I'd love the
The
next.
next line. The next name.
Yeah, I think we need it.
Okay. I've won the Scottish Cup twice, and represented my national side.
But that's obvious because he must have.
2-time Scottish Cup winner.
It's got to be Dundee United. So John Suter played Dundee United 2013, and Dundee United won Scottish Cup 2010. So he won the Scottish Cup with Dundee United. No, Jesus.
Could be Rangers.
It's not Rangers. So who's won the Scottish Cup in that era? Who won it?
Well, he doesn't have to win it with Suter, I suppose.
No, of
Could
course,
just be
yeah. I was
someone-
just trying to think who.
Is there any like old players that he played with at Hearts? Old players, experienced players.
This is bloody. I don't think we're going to get it off of this. How many more?
You get one more clue.
One more?
Yeah.
Give us that then. Shall we move on?
We're going to forget. We'll just chuck a name
Throw
out.
it.
Throw him.
Let's. Who's won the Scottish Cup in that time? It's not Rangers. It's not Dundee United. Hearts 2012. Celtic. Did they win it 2011? Hearts 2012. Hearts in 2012. Who's John Suter played for again? Hearts.
Yeah, it was at Hearts before Rangers, and he joined them from Dundee United as a youngster.
Yeah. It could be Hearts. Well, Hearts obviously won it in 2012. He's won it in 2012.
Was he part of the?
Morgaro Gomez. Principal Abin.
I've got no clue, honestly.
Yeah.
Christoph Berra.
No. Okay. Next one. This is your final one. So listen carefully, please. I've been managed by Peter Houston and Jim Jeffries.
Jim Jeffries and Pearson.
That would have been Hearts. So yeah, we know the era of Hearts roughly, right?
It obviously had to be a Hearts player, didn't it? It was always going to be.
It was always going to be a Hearts player.
Jim Jeffries. That doesn't help me in any way, if I'm being honest with you. Frank Ribery. Frank. See, I tried to be French there.
Who was Ribery at before he joined Bayern Munich? Was it Lyon or something like that?
Oh, that's a phenomenal shout. That's a
getting
great shout.
Should have
We're getting there.
Now, was there any French players in that team that won
The Scottish Cup in
Scottish
2012?
Cup?
I can't think.
I can't think of many French players that played at Hearts. There was that Martin guy or something like that. But
I can't think either. Who's playing with Ricardo Fuller? Must have been at Stoke. Was it at Stoke? I don't know anything else about his career then.
we would have crossed over with John Suter as well. So that would mean if they crossed over at Hearts, it would be. Gomes feels like a really good shout from you there. That was a really good guess, but
I got a big.
They did not cross over at Hearts.
they crossed over at Dundee United then. So it must have been.
Have Hearts won the Scottish Cup twice?
Is there someone that won the Scottish Cup with Hearts and Dundee United?
No.
Oh,
Both Hearts.
Yes.
When was the other time that Hearts won the Scottish Cup? 2006.
Correct.
Been there that whole time.
No, he's had. Like, he went back to Hearts.
2006 and 2012, and he's played with John Suter.
Mm-hmm.
So it must. So he's been at Hearts like 3 times. Well, like
Twice.
oh, who? This is bad. Actually,
this is really difficult.
this is. But we should know it if he's played with John Suter and won both Scottish Cups with Hearts. What position? Can you give us?
Sorry, did he say he played John Suter at Hearts?
No, I played with John Suter at
Dundee United. Right, so
Oh,
he moved to
sorry,
Dundee United.
sorry,
Yeah.
Try another teammate.
Yeah. Go on.
Can I throw out a guesser?
Yeah.
Rudy Scatchell.
Ding, ding, ding.
Is he French?
No, he's not. When did he play with Frank Ribery?
Marseille.
Where's he from?
Oh my god.
Czech Republic.
Yeah.
I thought I was never going to get there. Wowzer. Yeah, because he went to Dundee United.
Yeah.
And he wore number 51.
Was it with,
What was the 5-1? It's 10 minutes from now.
when did he play with Ricardo Fuller?
At Southampton.
Wow.
Southampton.
How good is that?
That was a good one. I'm glad I got there in the end.
Wow. Yeah.
I thought my manager
Never
one
know,
was
I
quite
was-
easy though.
I would have kicked myself if I didn't get that though at the end of it.
I was thinking
the
of
manager
French
one.
player.
Yeah, I thought
Why?
the managers was like quite a would have been a giveaway. That's why I put it at the end.
Why?
Don't know. Just thinking.
Should have known it was going to be. Literally.
It was the fact that we were talking about it so much. Like,
I know. Yeah.
That was
yeah
a bit
me too,
like-
I'm a lot. Well, that was fun.
yeah, we
Wow,
got different.
never would have
tailors.
got there in a million years. Fair play, look.
Thanks, mate.
Good work.
This is why they get him in doing the job. So Rudy Scatchaway.
That
Should have been more.
Not gonna lie,
two-time
mate,
cup.
I might
winner.
use that on Saturday.
I was going down a blind alley there. I was thinking.
Well, if anyone's seen it on Friday, they're in trouble.
yeah.
Good work, mate. We've got to come back with more of them. You're good at that. What should we do next?
Yeah, good question. What else have we got planned?
I've got any other notes on
Got
here.
any plans?
We've got the Avengers. So, in honour of Rangers announcing their Avengers team of managers, we're going to come up with some hypothetical Avengers teams for other Premiership clubs.
Yay!
Top quality journalism here.
Who wants to start us off?
I'll start.
Oh,
Okay, which
No,
one?
fire away.
Do you want to go Celtic first?
Okay.
So say Celtic and then.
You should.
Alright.
Really, you should be doing Hearts.
Yeah. Okay.
You do Celtic then.
Okay, so with Celtic, we've gone with obviously Neil Lennon,
Ah.
followed by Chris Sutton, backed up by Cy Ferry and Arthur Boric.
So we've got a bit of everything in this team.
Yeah,
Can I ask why Cy Ferry for you?
Cy Ferry, he's a Celtic man. He was trained in Lennoxtown. He knows Neil Lennon well. He knows
He's a
Chris
Celtic
Sutton
man.
well.
That's what you had to say.
Yeah.
Well,
He's a good Celtic man, and
That's
he's
all
got
that matters for this.
good Celtic man, good contacts, done a
Played
stellar job
football
at
before.
Open Goal Broomhill.
Exactly. Yes.
Neil Lennon's there because imagine the situation that would bring Neil Lennon back. It'd have to be
And
awful. It'd
I
be
think,
brilliant. It'd be
yeah,
funny.
There's no bigger Celtic man than Neil Lennon.
And he'd be the Barry in this situation, the Barry Ferguson in this situation. Neil Lennon.
Yeah.
Would he?
I feel like he'd front up the ship.
More. I feel like he'd be more like maybe Alan McGregor.
No.
That's why we got Arthur Boric.
Yeah.
Well, of
For the
course.
vibes.
Well, yeah. So we've got the kind of mad goalkeeper
So, and what's Arthur Boric there for?
to be as holy as possible. I think
Well said, sir.
What on earth, man?
to cross himself in front of the Brimlin Road stand.
No one else will do it. It's a very important part of the Celtic job, though, if you're needing your Avengers team.
Yeah.
What dare it be?
So that's a pretty strong Avengers lineup for Celtic.
And was
I
it
think.
Chris Sutton as well?
Chris Sutton? Yeah.
He's just there
Come on.
to wind people up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a team that is.
Yeah.
By the way, if Brendan Rodgers is out at some point.
There you go.
That's a pretty solid backup 4. Yeah.
I like that. Right, you want to go up next then?
Aye, I'll go for the
Okay.
Geordie.
Okay, give us your 4 names.
So my 4 names are Christoph Berra, actually our answer and our teaser, Rudy Station. Station. I'm actually terrible at pronouncing his name, but here we are. Ryan Stevenson and John Robertson.
That's a dream team, that is.
I'll endorse Ryan Stevenson 100 times, twice on a Sunday. Legend of a man.
Yes, he'd be there. What would he provide, do you think, to the Hearts job, part of this Avengers team?
Maybe some conspiracy theories. But some worldy goals in training.
Yeah, he'll be pinging them in.
Wow.
Pinging them in.
Maybe can fill in at goalkeeper as well. If the Hearts goalies are...
Don't want to think about that.
if they forget to bring the gloves, he can step in.
Yeah.
He's done that before at Somerset Park, his old hunting ground. So, he's perfect. There's no better man.
He brings style, tattoos.
Style.
Yeah. He's a nice guy, according to Luke as well.
Yeah. I would say, do you know what I'd say for John Robertson, by the way? I'd say he's the Billy Dodds character in all this.
Well, he is, and he fits the quota of Inverness manager, which is a very important part of an Avengers squad.
I feel like Billy Dodds and John Robertson in my head, the lines are kind of blurred there. They're basically the same man, really, aren't they?
I know I want you.
They've
under the blurred lines.
And
watching that as well.
I think Crystal Barrows, he's desperate for a managerial job. He's keen to get into it. So
I think he'd actually be a fantastic
I
manager.
think he will be. I
he seems like
quite like him.
a thinking man.
He's learning a lot under John McGlynn. I've seen him a few times when he's been taking like a warm up or something like that. When I've been to a few.
I did like him at Rafe when he finished off his career. It felt like the impression that he was going to
go into some
something like that.
The professor.
Yeah, he's there to keep things calm, and Rudy Scatchell's there to wind people up.
Aye,
yeah,
just to remind them of the 5-1.
And to remind people that he's played with Frank Ribery and Ricardo Fuller.
Good ball knowledge. I wonder if you heard that one before.
Right, should we move swiftly on?
Yes.
Aberdeen. Andrew Considine. Shay Logan. Willie Miller. And Johnny Hayes. Dream team.
It's pretty solid, to be honest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, they can boogie.
Yeah.
No more so than Big Andy.
Let's say they should be called the Booty 11.
The four of them could be called.
No, but like
you mean the team? Right, okay.
Shay Logan, he's a popular guy as well. I feel like he's got a good reputation.
He's Aberdeen.
Remember when he was at Hearts?
No, actually.
Do you remember that? During COVID?
Not particularly.
That was wild.
Every time he mentions Hearts, we should have a wee alarm going off.
Someone get the bell back. I remember his time at Cove Rangers. not very memorable. But yeah, he certainly got under the skin of a lot of people when he was at Rangers. The Shay Logan, Willie Miller, you said had to be in there, of course.
I mean, yeah. Of course. We need a sensible head, someone that's been there, done that, won it all for Aberdeen,
and perfectly balanced out by Johnny Hayes.
Well, he's won it all as well on a domestic level, I suppose.
He's got a Celtic links these days. Celtic B.
And that's always helpful in Scottish football. Really?
Celtic B coach, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Did you not see him?
Is he the main?
No, he's assistant.
Because who is the main man? Darren O'Dea.
Darren O'Dea. Did you not see him?
I've got a memory like a 7.
Did you not see Johnny Hayes around?
No, I did.
I've got one for you. Do you know Scott Fox is the goalkeeping coach at Celtic Women?
Where did that come from? That's just random niche piece of knowledge ever. There you go.
There you go.
Why?
I just saw him the other week.
I wonder why he is. That's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah.
Right, you finish us off, big man.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad you let me do this because
got a nice green jumper on.
I've got my green
Where's it
jumper
blue?
on.
I don't know.
Boo!
I love.
Calm down.
I love this Hibs team. One of my favourite teams out with air in Scottish football is the Hibs team of the mid-2000s.
So finally, Hibs. What's the four?
Gary O'Connor, Derek Riordan, Conrad Logan,
Streets will not forget.
and Paul Hanlon.
So the first two of them, they come hand in hand.
They do. They're.
We did iconic duos recently, and they are iconic duo.
Yeah, they really are, and they were fantastic actually. And Gary O'Connor got his big move to Spartak Moscow or something like that. Or, I don't know, Dynamo Moscow. Derek Riordan, legend.
Yeah.
And then Conrad Logan.
So why have we gone for Conrad Logan?
He's a legend.
He won Hibs the Scottish Cup.
The roly-poly goalie.
The roly-poly
Provide
goalie.
the pies.
And what a genuinely nice guy as well. Seemed like
someone has to bring the pies, yeah. Short but sweet spell.
Yeah.
He was only there for like 3 months.
So why? I can't remember the story as to why he was then the sort of Hibs goalie going into the semi-final against Dundee United and the final.
What happened to Mark
quality.
Oxley?
Well, he's obviously quality, but he wasn't.
He was the best.
He
keeper,
wasn't signed as their number one.
I think he was, yeah.
Was he?
Nah, but there was Mark Oxley at that point.
Exactly.
Well, maybe then.
He came in. He played like all the league games and the playoffs
Yeah.
and everything like that.
Yeah.
and
No, I mean, he was but
Fantastic.
He kind of come out of the wilderness.
It was fantastic.
he played in the
But he
decent
was-
level.
he
of,
was-
like,
yeah,
World
big
Leagues
lad.
English football. He was a big lad.
Big lad, but that performance against Dundee United at Hampden should go down in history.
He showed whatever shape or size. It's okay. You can do it.
I
So
like that, Cal.
bonus points for body positivity from Conrad Logan. What a guy.
Fantastic,
and
yeah.
Paul Hanlon. He's actually there as a good name as well. So
He's similar mould to Christoph Berra, maybe similar mould to Neil McCann. Good footballing brain,
Yeah.
sensible. Imagine he doesn't make too many jokes in the dressing room. There's no time
that's
for that.
harsh. That is.
I like to
Does
read.
he?
I like to read Joe
You have
Tension.
been.
I've not been in the. I've not been in the dressing
I
room.
don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry, Paul, if you're watching.
Okay. Still a tremendous player though. He's not
Yeah.
available for this Avengers team just yet.
Doesn't strike me as a Jason Cummings or a. I don't know. Give me another funny one. Give me another madman in Scottish football. But doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that was going to be.
Going around wrestling.
I just
Yeah.
think of that video of Jason Cummins like that.
Come, dog.
Of him wrestling. He's like, and he proper like vertically tackles somebody over a couch and that.
Great.
Do you think Jason Cummings?
Yeah, it was
do you think Jason Cummings would be in the managerial team?
Yeah,
Once
he'd
he
be in
too
that.
retires,
young.
he's,
Definitely.
he's player manager, but he's obviously he's out tearing it up in the end in Super League right
Do you
now.
know I've got an honourable mention for the Aberdeen team? Lee Miller.
Fair enough.
It's a mention. Go on.
He did well.
Explain
Just
your-
that it was really good in this time.
Oh, right.
So.
Well, I mean, it went well at Falkirk for him, and now he's a great barber. So, yeah, would be natural
Yeah.
next step to take the Aberdeen job.
Great football dad as well.
Yeah, he did. I think he said he hated management. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Perfect for the Avengers.
I like you just nodding along here, like, yeah, we gave him a lot of abuse. Falkirk fans did. We made it terrible for him.
Well, there you go, Callum. You can have your phone back.
Cheers. That was fun. Avengers
Assemble.
Unite. Oh yeah. Avengers Assemble. I've not really seen the Avengers. Have
Yeah,
I?
no.
So that's my Avengers theme.
Wow. There we go.
Thank you.
And we've got one final challenge to finish this off. It's going to be a fantasy football. Ooh. I don't know the best
I
way
like
to describe
this.
that. Is that the best
Yeah,
way?
well, it is. It's fantasy football. That's exactly what it is, Callum.
Yeah, this is going to be fantasy football. We've selected a team as a team for this weekend's games, and we're going to come back and see how many points we get. We can only take 3 teams from each league. No.
Maximum of 3.
Yes, sorry, I'll say that all again. So it's going to be a fantasy football for this week's game. See how many points we get on the FPL scoring system. We can only take 3 teams max from each league out of the 4 SPFL divisions. Let's run through the team.
This is a fantastic team, I think.
All right, we'll
go
do.
back to front or
We'll go in order.
front
We'll
to
start with
back?
me. I'm going to start with. Well, should I just go through the entire 11 first? Just for the.
Shall we build it up? Build it up from the back.
Okay. Yeah. So, and what? Speak on each one as we go. Or?
Yeah.
Okay. First up, in goal, a shout for myself was Blair Carswell, Spartans goalkeeper. They've got a nice game against Bonnyrigg on the weekend. They'd have a midweek game before recording. We don't know what's going to happen in that, but I feel like that's a good game for them. They won last weekend. Bonnyrigg, mixed form, fancy clean sheet. Blair Carswell, great lower league goalkeeper, Lowden League legend.
I'm all for it, and it looks like Bonnyrigg are in iffy form, Callum, but I did look back, not the previous game, but the game before that. They shipped 5 away to Edinburgh City, so it's bold from you, but I like it.
I fancy clean sheet, pal.
I'm not gonna.
Tasty.
I'm not gonna argue with you. I'm just saying.
Luke, who's our right back?
All right, back.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it's back 3 we've gone for, sorry.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a point. Is it a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3?
It's a 3-4-3. And remember,
very
it's
fluid.
it's a fantasy football formation, so it can look like anything as
Yeah.
long as the players roughly play somewhere.
There is zero balance to this.
Yeah,
11.
please stop shouting at
yeah.
us in the comments.
So our right centre half is Canadian Alistair Johnson.
We did say we need a Celtic player in there,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah, I
seems like a good shout.
Yeah.
St Mirren,
Guaranteed clean sheet. He can get forward. He
Not
can maybe
ga-
get you a wee assist.
it's not guaranteed clean sheet.
Def-
But good
yes.
shout for clean sheet.
St Mirren have slayed one half of Glasgow.
Slade.
Maybe they'll do it again.
Slave.
He's popped up a few goals this season as well,
Yeah,
so good shout.
quality player.
Up next,
player.
we're sticking in the Premiership. Up next,
Yeah,
Well, this player, he is in red hot form.
he is in form.
Red hot form.
green
Big-
hot form.
Green hot form.
Green
yeah.
hot form, yeah.
Hey.
And it's a big game this weekend. Someone said.
Big Rocky Bashiri. This is bold, but they're at home to Hearts. Hibs are in fine form.
Yep.
And Rocky saw him at Somerset Park, got man of the match. Saw him against Celtic at the weekend. where he looked like he was dying on his feet, but he managed to sprint back and get a goal line clearance. So Big Rocky might even chip in with a goal against Hearts.
He's picked up a few. He's a man for the big occasion as well.
Exactly.
Or a bomb scare. So we'll wait and see what happens on that one. Left centre back, a man that's played left centre back. Actually, this does fit really well. Scott McMahon. A nice little game for Ayr. We wanted to get an Ayr player in at home to Airdrie. Fancy a clean sheet for that one, quite possibly. Airdrie, a bit of an upturn in form, but Scott McMahon, good player as well, can pick up something the other way, but we're hoping for an Ayr clean sheet, aren't we, Fraser?
We are hoping for that, and I think potentially Luke saw it first hand at the stadium.
Oh yes,
he went on a fantastic run. I thought, watching the highlights back, I thought, Conor McLaren, fantastic run. He's just taking it past 3 or 4 players. No,
it was
not Conor McLaren. It was Scott McMahon.
That was
fantastic.
Really
so, good defender, but also
good at getting forward.
Good to even get some assist points.
Good football player.
Very good football player. Yeah.
Next, we're going to stick in the Championship, and Luke, this is the easiest shout of the week.
Oh, it's a guaranteed. It has to be in there. Scott Arfield.
Big question: is he wearing the armband? Luke?
No, he's wearing the vice captain armband.
Who made that decision?
Should we come back to our captains at the end, I think?
Oh, right, sorry.
We'll come back to that.
We'll
come back to that.
Excited that.
Yeah, vice captain, he's coming up though,
Yeah.
right? So that's why have we gone for Scott Arfield in the team?
Just as Grove returned since he's came back to Falkirk, I think. Like,
Speaks for itself.
yeah, it speaks for itself.
4 and 2.
No,
Yeah.
4 and 3.
4 and 3.
Yeah.
Is that all? Embarrassing.
Oh yeah, because
Can I just say,
Yeah.
beautiful story. I don't know if I mentioned it last week, but the reason why he's wearing number 37.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Trent
yeah,
Jones is
lovely
great.
story.
It's fantastic.
Gorgeous story, yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Really nice, actually.
but I do fancy some more goals from him. I think he'll fancy that. Hamilton away. So
Yep.
who's alongside him in midfield?
Who else? Your man, Sam Stanton. Obviously, you've said that he's got potential and had potential to be best player in the Championship.
That was a take last year.
That was the take last year. He's now in League One playing
Yeah.
for Arbroath. So I think your opinion is, Callum, is that he is comfortably, maybe not comfortably, but the best player in League One.
You'd probably say
Has
so.
potential
I've
to
not
be.
seen him since he's gone obviously down, but yeah, player that can walk at that level. And we looked at the fixtures and we saw Arbroath and we fancied an Arbroath player, and there could have been a few. Sam Stanton, I don't think he's scored yet for them, so maybe drew a goal.
Now's the
Give us
time,
easy
yeah.
points.
Arbroath in decent form.
Yep.
Recently beat Inverness 3-0 at home, and they've got a couple of games in hand up at the top end of the table, so you'd expect that they should win against Annan, and Sam Stanton should be central to that.
Goals and or assists, hopefully.
Yep.
On the right hand side, we have gone for Finlay Pollock.
Great shout.
Hearts Loney at Rafe Rovers. He has been playing up front. This is fantasy football. He's a winger. He goes down as a winger for us, okay? He can fit in there on the right hand side. He scored in back-to-back games recently. He really does look to be growing into that new position he's been playing. So, all for it. I think he's possibly got goals in him. Why not go for someone that's in red-hot form?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. No more.
Great shout, whoever came up with that.
I know, right?
So next we're doing it with Adam Brown.
Yep.
What player?
Starling Albion. Former Stenhousemuir man, of course, as
Yes.
well. And Starling Albion.
It's just the panic in Luke's eyes there when he saw that. He was like, who on earth?
Oh, you wanted
That was a Callum shout. Oh no!
Oh no!
Is it?
I took Ryan Chanley off in very last minute.
Yeah,
in all fairness.
yeah.
You know, Adam Brown. He scored in a couple home games recently for.
Adam Brown, good player.
Oh, look at that!
I love it.
Great name. Really it's a good Scottish name.
Yeah.
But no, he scored in a couple home games recently for Starling. They're in good form. Well, a couple wins in a row at home, so I fancy them. Tough game East Fife, but you never know.
Again, this is East Fife, top of the league, team in form. Callum's gone for someone.
You're the one that said to me before we started doing this, take a risk.
No, I'm off it. No, I'm just
You
saying.
shoot me
I'm
down now,
unsure.
as soon as the cameras turn on.
And I love that you have. And this is what in my philosophy in fantasy football is, got to take risks. And Callum is doing just that.
You miss 100% of shots you don't take.
Exactly.
Michael, G-Stroke.
Right, up next.
Next up.
Is this me?
It's yourself, mate.
This is an interesting one. We've gone for a ex Love Island contestant, Uzi C. He's actually, I didn't realise he's in red hot form.
He is.
Cameron Young at Edinburgh City was the top goal scorer in Scotland. Shipped
Connor
out to
Young, sorry.
Connor Young.
Sorry.
Thank you. My goodness. And he's gone to Dunfermline, so there's a gap.
And they've kicked on.
They really have.
Hard, I'll say, yeah.
They're in good form. Obviously, as we touched on, they won 5-0 at home to Spartans. Was it Spartans? And then they've recently I think they won 2-1 away to Elgin, who were in good form. So, and he's scored 3 and 2. So, at home to Stranraer, 4 and 4, I think you've noted here, Callum.
Yeah, I have 4 and 4 he scored. So if you follow Aaron Fraser on any social media as well, you'll be full with Edinburgh City notifications. I've been following it closely because of that. Shout out to the main man.
They had a shambolic season last season, but they've really they've turned it around. So they're up to 3rd. So Uzi C.
I fancy Uzi for a goal, and I fancy Uzi.
Oh, that's terrible.
Sorry. Right, 2 more players. Oh, Fraser, that's your last one. I do apologise.
Oh, that's quite devastating.
But I'll let you speak about this next one, as it was a shout from yourself, I believe. Our final Premiership player is going to be Ronan Hale leading the line.
Yeah, I really like the look at this player.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of good work for County this season. County, who are also in good form.
Nice little run for them.
Yeah, won the last 2 games.
Kelly at home, they'll be looking at that, hoping for something.
Kelly,
hands at that, I'd say.
I think so, because Kelly they lost, was it to Aberdeen in last weekend?
No.
Am I
Yeah,
wrong?
they lost 1.
So they're not in fantastic form. Ronan Hale, I think, normally at the heart of what everything good
Back
that
to
Ross
brace
County
away
do.
to Motherwell recently. So
Exactly
good
so.
form.
I fancy him
Nice.
to do something against Kelly.
And do you want to give us our final shout?
Final shout. Alfie Babbage.
Yeah.
Inverness, Looney, former Ayr United. What was it? He scored 5 and 7?
Oh, double check that. He
Yeah,
has
it was
been
5.
on fire.
Yeah.
Young player.
Yeah, he's
Very
on fire.
talented.
Scored the winner, the only goal of the game last week.
Yeah.
But on loan from Aberdeen, got recalled. He was at Ayr in the first half of the season. He scored a couple of goals, but didn't really set the head of the light. So, aye.
Yeah.
5
goals in 7. So a goal every 125 minutes. He's an easy pick up front, surely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And that leaves us with one final task for the Fantasy Football 11.
Yes, we need to select our captain. And who is our captain going to be?
He doesn't know.
Who's our captain going to be?
Alfie Babbage.
Who else?
Couldn't have been anyone else. It could have actually.
It could have been someone else.
We've got the vice captain armband, if there's such a thing.
Yes.
It's got Arfield.
Yes,
but we think Alfie Babbage. They're at home to Montrose.
Montrose, which is winnable. Nice.
5 goals and 7. They're on the up. Inverness.
I'm sure Inverness better than the last time as well. They scored like 3 goals in the last 10 minutes.
Aye. It seems like a lovely matchup, and Alfie Babbage and the form he's in, a couple of goals, a brace maybe.
We believe in you, Alfie. No pressure.
Go on, Alfie, son.
Yeah. So
Double points, please.
We'll calculate our points.
Yeah.
And see how
And
many.
if he's unavailable for any reason, Scott Arfield steps up and he'll bang us a few points. Watch Scott Arfield score another hat-trick now. We'll get double points. But anyway, that's the fantasy football team. Happy with that?
Yeah, smashing.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I reckon that's good. So that's our final challenge for the day. Believe it or not.
That's quite sad.
It's went so quickly today.
That's a nice quick 3 hours chat there, boys.
Yeah, I know.
The fans will love that.
They always
Take
do.
them through an afternoon.
Yeah,
It'll be a Friday afternoon when they're bunking off of work.
I need to go sit in a dark room after this. Get my thoughts back.
Up to anything tonight, Callum?
Well, I'm off to Airdrie away with the Rovers tonight. So when people hear this, I know what's happening.
FT away day then, Callum.
I know. I've got a security team with me. Don't worry.
Yes.
Very much in the situation.
I know. Yeah, I'll need them. Yeah, jeez. So look forward to that. Yeah, should be a good one.
Fantastic.
I'll have a good week of Scottish football though.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Scottish women playing tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll reflect on that.
Netherlands.
Hopefully, yeah, at home, I believe.
Yes.
Hopefully, well, we won't get to see their away kit, I guess.
Oh, we saw
Yeah,
it
we-
today.
We saw it, yeah. So hopefully they can,
Check one.
get a wee win.
Fingers crossed for that. Well, boys, it's been
It's
a
the plan.
pleasure as always.
Lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, right.
Cheers,
Well,
fellas.
we'll be back very soon. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Don't go changing.